What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel once again. It's been quite a long time. Yeah, I haven't done a review in ages, and so it's really nice to start with something special. And we're out here with Christoph. I just want to introduce
Hi guys, I'm Christoph. How are you?
So Christoph is the owner of this lovely Cressida that I just showed you, and from the shots that we just took, you can see that it's really well taken care of. It looks really immaculate. But the cherry on top of this, Christoph, is what? The fact that it's got what in it? It's got
good old 3-liter 2JZ engine.
Beautiful. So this is a 2JZ powered Cressida, and I've got to say that when you look at this thing from the outside, just driving past or just cruising by, you would never say that it's 2JZ powered.
That was the main idea of the whole build, yeah.
So it's like sleeper of note. And I mean, you know, where a lot of guys lose that is when you look at the car, you might not see the engine, but you always see the intercooler. And even though the intercooler is visible from the front, you don't notice it immediately unless you actually go up close.
Yeah, so you kneel down and take a look, and it's quite low and partially hidden behind the bumper. Yeah, it's
really difficult to just spot it from the distance. So unless you know that it's 2J, or unless you can lay down on your tummy and look at it, you see it. And I must say, like, we've just set off now, and it seems like it's really smooth to drive for a 2J swap.
Yeah, it drives nicely, super smooth, obviously 2J 6-cylinder sound. It's not too loud with the exhaust. It's a 76 mil exhaust all the way through. There's one big box at the back to not have it too loud, to just have still nice conversations going inside. So even with the windows closed, no, it's not that loud.
I was about to say, like, we're not exactly shouting, and I'm pretty sure the audio is quite good. So it's not like mine, unfortunately, where when you drive around you don't hear a thing. So yeah, it's definitely livable. It's dailyable.
Yes, yeah, it's my daily driver, and it's perfect for that. You can just go whatever you have to do in town, go further also. It's nice, it's quiet, yeah, you can listen to your music podcast or whatever.
I love that. Besides the actual engine swap and the fact that you've obviously got the intercooler out front, I love that for the most part everything else is kept original, the exception being the wheels, obviously. What is the inspiration behind the wheels?
So the reason behind the wheels is, well, obviously you can't drop the 2J in and then leave the old Cressida little baby brakes on. so what I did is I changed out the whole front strut suspension basically to E46 BMW.
Lovely.
So you have the big caliper, you have the obviously bigger brake power.
Okay.
And you have more opportunities to also change your suspension.
Nice. Because
you have a newer car, the E46. You still get parts and tuning and aftermarket parts. So that is quite nice. Yeah. So with that being said, I had to get a different wheel. Right?
I understand. So, obviously, you get a bigger wheel to fit those color wheels, and wider as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Wider also, because the original was 195, which is quite narrow.
And I mean, you went BMW, so it makes sense to have a set of M3 wheels.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
I got them quite cheap.
Nice.
So yeah, that was the reason, and I could only fit 17.
Okay.
Because of the brake caliper, obviously, of the size, and yeah, so that's why I had to obviously do that. The rear diff is original Cressida diff, the BorgWarner M75 with the original ratio, which I think is now 3.9 or something.
Okay.
About that. It's not too bad. So in order to fit that to the bigger wheel and the 5 stud,
nice,
I had just spacers made.
Another thing that I'm going to mention is, you know, when you decide to do a swap, especially when you with a manual car, one of the biggest issues that people struggle with is getting a clutch that's not too hard to drive. So what's it like, or what's the clutch like on this car?
So it's original Cressida gearbox, 5 speeds,
21R.
Yeah, it's the 21R, which is I think the W58 or 56 in original terms, but it's original gearbox. The clutch is original. The only thing that I've done is reinforce the pressure plate.
the advantages you have is a lot of people, when they do 2J swaps, they use a lot of 21R parts.
Yeah.
So you had that advantage to start with, essentially.
Yes, yes.
And like, I mean, to sit in the car, like I said, from the outside, when you see this thing passing, when you see it in the parking lot, you would never say that it's a 2J. And even now, sitting inside the car, if I hadn't known, I would not know that there's a 2J swap inside of here. So it's done really, really well.
Yeah,
and another
thanks.
thing, we spoke about this when I met you now in the past. Sorry about that. When I met you in the lot, the work that's done, you mentioned that you did that in your garage. Most of it was done by you.
Yes, yeah.
And I must say, big ups to you. I can always respect a guy who does his own work, and it's not easy to get this thing done. And I'm going to mention also, because here we go. I can hear the turbos getting ready.
It's a nice little, it's not loud, you know, it's just like a nice little turbo whistle.
One of the things that we spoke about this, I'm also in an 86 group, and we were speaking about like 2J swaps. A lot of people think that it's foolproof, that you don't find problems along the way, because they see all the success stories on YouTube. But I think it must be pointed out, if you don't do this properly, you can find problems.
Yes.
So once again, big ups to you for getting the job done properly.
Thank you.
Can you mention any of the things you might have struggled with?
Yeah, obviously, like you know, that the 2J and putting it in Cressidas or Crestas in the US is quite a big thing. And obviously also the market is bigger, so there are more aftermarket parts and stuff. So in South Africa we still have to struggle a bit to get like parts for that. The main things, I did do my research in the beginning, so I know what I was dealing with. Things that, like you mentioned now, that just come along the way that you can't foresee really. Things like the housing, you have to find the bar housing that matches the gearbox. Wiring, obviously, you have to decide what management you want to run. You have to decide, is it going to be for like a daily driver, for like a fun car, is it going to be a race car, drift car, whatever, so you have to adjust that. Main things that came, obviously you have to deal with a heavier weight in this car because the original engine was way lighter. So the whole front dropped a bit, also due to the fact that the strut from the BMW is shorter than the original Cressida strut. I had to have spaces made for the front struts. So the front struts now have a 35mm spacer on top of the strut tower. So the whole car doesn't sit straight.
It doesn't have a wedge basically.
Exactly, and it sits straight and gives also the suspension the right travel in the wheel arches. So otherwise it would scrap the whole time.
On that note, like what's the handling like driving a car like this? Oh, that sound though. So nice.
It's nice. It's the original blow off, the small blow off valve. I didn't go.
It's not obnoxious basically.
It's not like.
Lovely. Do you mind if I just get
sure.
some of that sound in?
The handling on the straight is nice. It's fine. See, the car is it's still a station wagon having Cressida. The steering, it has power steering. It's perfectly fine. It's not like your car or like a newer car with a super stiff suspension where you can just go race through tight corners and stuff.
You need to be careful on bends basically.
Yes, because it pitches a lot and rolls a lot. So it's more quick on the straight. It's not the best for going in circles and stuff.
And it's a big car as well. It's not a small car, so it makes sense.
But other than that, the driving is fine. That was just half throttle.
This is definitely something I could daily, because like I said, it's not obnoxious, and the way that you're driving it, it's definitely something you could get along with on a daily basis without feeling like you're going to kill yourself. But there's still the fun factor at the same time, which is really awesome.
No, you can drive it nice and smooth, but if you need to overtake, or if you just want to go for a quick race.
Spirited driving. It's got what it needs.
Yeah, it goes. So I don't know. We spoke about the power output earlier. Honestly, I can't say how much it makes. So the standard, obviously, our output is about what 280, 290 horsepower. But seeing that I've upgraded the turbos a bit, deleted the whole sequential thing, I would reckon it is around 340, 350 horsepower.
Nice. But I know.
Yeah. But yeah, due to the overboosting issue that we spoke about earlier, we can't really down it yet. And the reason why I haven't actually been looking into that further is that I was always planning to go single turbo eventually anyways.
Okay.
So there's no value actually in throwing more money into the twin turbo thing.
Yeah.
You just have to be a bit careful not overboost it.
And given the fact that you've done the build now and you've been through the process, you know what goes for what, is there anything you would do different, or would you decide not to go this route and do something else, or are you happy with what you've got?
I'm extremely happy with what I got. It's a super fun engine to drive. I must actually say this is the first turbo 6-cylinder that I've ever had before, like that powerful before. I was my dad had an old BMW 535, 525, the diesel, the straight 6 diesel.
Yeah.
And that was like 180 horsepower or something, not that much, but yeah, that was already quite a lot for me back then, and now it's just nice to have a bit more power. What I would do what I would do differently is I would do it straight myself and not pay someone else, or not give someone else time to do it who was not really focused.
You mentioned that you had someone start out and you ended up finishing everything on your own.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get you.
So I would rather do that myself in the beginning, straight from the start. Because you shouldn't pay someone else to learn in the process.
Exactly.
So either you give it to someone who had done this type of conversion before and know what he's doing, or do it yourself.
Yeah.
If you can do it.
The last thing that I'm going to bring up is something we spoke about not too long ago, but for the viewers to know. So the 21R itself is quite an old engine. It's quite an old chassis, and you know, normally when you decide to do a swap, things become tricky because now you struggle to find parts and whatever. But I'm going to ask you, with regards to doing a 2J swap in the older Cressida, will you say that it's easier to find parts for the 2JZ than it is to find parts for the 21R?
Now I would say engine wise you'll definitely find parts easier for the 2J than for the old 22R engine. You'll definitely get your 22R pistons and engine components as well, which will probably more like be second hand, most likely from dodgy people or dodgy areas or dodgy dealers.
It's not simple.
But yeah, like I said earlier, I would rely more on second-hand 2J parts now than on second-hand 22R parts.
So basically, at the end of the day, you get the best of both worlds, because you're getting a new engine, you're getting the performance, and it's easier and safer to get parts for a 2J than it is to get parts for the old engine.
You have a new and more reliable engine.
True. So for those of you who are interested, like, this is well and properly a proper sleeper, and it's done and put together really well. For anybody who is interested in a sleeper, this is good news for you, the car is for sale. If you're interested, you can hit Christoph up. Sorry about that.
Good.
Yeah, I can see you're a bit sad about that, eh?
I'm very sad, but due to the circumstances that we have nowadays. A new Alpha, eh?
Yeah, the Spider.
The Spider, yeah. Cool. The car's for sale. Due to the Corona incidents, we had to take some cuts.
Yeah.
And I cannot
been hit by it, so
longer afford to have this car or finish or proceed in the build as I wanted.
Yeah, like the single turbo and so on.
Yeah, single turbo. That's the main reason why I have to say that. I have to.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, especially now that you see how much work actually went into the car, all the details, like the tacho works, original tacho.
Yeah, and
I made everything work the way it should work.
I mentioned the exterior. I mean, sitting inside of this car, it's so clean for the age of this chassis. It's insane.
It's over 30 years
really
old. The car's older than me.
Yeah, no, it's really well looked after. I don't know, is there anything you want to leave us with before we end off?
Yeah, the only thing that I want to say is if you do an engine swap and you want to do a 2J engine, put it in a Toyota. It's easier to do Toyota swaps than
they belong
anything else.
together at the end of the day.
Yeah. Now also, like, wiring wise, it's
And
gonna
also,
give you less issues.
I know I mean to say that was the last thing, but I'm just going to ask, would you suggest that someone do this on their own? Is it a difficult job to do the swap, or is it something you can learn relatively easily?
No, you definitely can. If you're like a bit mechanically minded.
If you know how to use a wrench.
Yeah, if you can do that, then you should be okay. There's obviously plenty of stuff online for research and stuff.
At the end of the day,
in the beginning, and figure out what you actually want to do with the car.
Yeah.
And then it's not a straightforward swap if you don't have a hoist and all these nice things, pneumatic gun and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you'll get it done.
But it will take some time, obviously.
Yeah, it'll take obviously longer, but yeah, you'll get it done. And if you mechanically minded, you can do it. If you don't.
Alright, Christoph, we're really honored to be in your car and to have you on the channel. So I just want to say thank you once more.
Thank you.
I hope we see some future builds from Christoph.
I think I'm going to go into diesel the next time.
Nice. Alright guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and don't forget to like and leave a comment if you want to find out anything else about the car. Let us know.